Elijah, look what's behind me. Fossils. These are both mammals, though. That one and that one. I'm in Fossil Hall. Oh, look at this one. It says it's an early seal. These. Hello, friends. Welcome to Stories with Aunt C. Today we're going to do something a little bit different, okay? Today, instead of reading a story, we're going to look at a pop-up book, and we're going to be scientists and paleontologists and learn about what we can learn from dinosaur fossils. So I went to the Museum of Natural History in Washington, D.C., and I saw fossils there, like real life fossils. And that's so cool. So I'm going to show you some of that footage of me going to see real life fossils. But before we do, we're going to become our own paleontologists and our fossil scientists and look at some dinosaur skeletons in this pop-up book. Are you ready? All right, let's turn on our scientist brains. Turn it on. Okay. So scientists use their senses to figure out and solve problems. We have our eyes, ears to hear, our eyes to see, our nose to smell, our mouth to taste, and our fingers to touch. But for paleontologists, they really use their eyes and maybe their fingers to touch. But there's not really anything to hear or taste or smell in a dinosaur fossil. So we're going to use our eyes and our brains to figure out some stuff about the dinosaur skeletons and learn how paleontologists learn from dinosaurs. So we're going to open up first. We're going to talk about an Apatosaurus, which lived 140 million years ago in the U.S. It was 70 feet long and 12 feet high. Okay, let's look at this skeleton. Oh, let me turn it this way. All right, here's the skeleton. Before I read anything about Before I read anything about this dinosaur, let's see. All right, so he's got a really long tail. He's got 4 legs. 2, 3, 4. Here's his ribs. He's got a really long neck. What do you think a dinosaur needs a really long neck for? What do you think dinosaurs use long necks for? Maybe to eat? Ooh. Let's see. Let's look at his head. You can see he's got little tiny teeth, but they're not pointy teeth. They're very flat, kind of like our teeth. What do you think this dinosaur, by his neck and his teeth, what do you think he eats? Do you think he would eat on the ground or in a tree? I think in a tree. And what would he eat from the tree? Do you think he would catch birds and monkeys? No, they weren't. They were birds, but there weren't monkeys back then. Let's see. What do you think he ate with those teeth? All right, let's see what the book says. The book says, look at its teeth, shaped like pegs. They combed leaves into its mouth and swallowed them whole, since it had no real chewing teeth. Stones in its stomach ground the food to tiny pieces. As it stretched up for leaves and pine needles, its long tail would have helped it keep balance and stopping it from crashing over. Wow, that's so cool. So you can see the illustration there too of what its teeth would have looked like with skin. So we were able to tell by the neck and the head that this animal eats leaves in the trees. But he didn't chew them. No, he just swallows them whole. And he has rocks in his tummy, or stones in his tummy, that would grind it up to make it where it wouldn't just be leaves anymore. And his stomach chews for him. That was a good one. All right, let's try the next one. The next one is going to be a Parasaurolophus, which lived 80 million years ago in the U.S. and Canada, and it was 33 feet long, and its crest was up to 6 feet. So let's see. Oh, here's the skeleton. Oh, I see his crest right here, and there's a picture of him. His crest, and we see his feet and his ribs and his tail. Okay, So what do you think his crest was used for? Let's think about it. What does it look like? Oh, that's a good idea. Maybe it's like a horn, his crest. Now, what do you think it was used for? Let's look. You see the holes on the illustration? So maybe that is part of his nose. Let's read what we can learn from his crest. Let's see. Think of the strangest, deepest, and ugliest animal noise. Then imagine that noise magnified many times, trumpeting with a long, hollow tube of bone at the top of an animal's head. He uses it to make sounds. It's like a horn. Here is a plant-eating dinosaur with no way of defending itself from predators. All it could do was swim away or bellow as loud as possible to frighten away attackers. Oh my goodness, its crest was used to make really loud noises, like a trumpet, and to scare away all of the creatures with the loud noise. That's such an interesting one. There we go. It also might have been used as a giant nose, giving the dinosaur an excellent sense of smell. Or it could have been used to knock down branches to one side as it ran among the trees. Oh, that's a few different uses. It could be a big noise maker, or a nose. Give it a really long nose, or just to move trees out of the way. Wow. Okay. Here's a Stegosaurus. There's not a skeleton of that one, but I do see one in the video later. All right, now we have a Torosaurus. Torosaurus. All right, this one, his jaw's a little broken. That's supposed to be the bottom part of his mouth, like that, but it's a little down. All right, let's look at him. We have the feet. Oh, we have this. Another big piece around his neck. And he has 3 horns. So what do you think this animal eats? Doesn't look like he has many teeth. Does not look like he has many teeth at all. Let's see. What do you think he would use his horns for? What do animals that have horns use them for? Let's think of sheep and goats. What do they use their horns for? They use them to fight. But what do they fight? Do they fight predators or do they fight themselves? Let's see. The Torosaurus lived 70 million years ago in Canada and the US, and the length of its neck frill could be up to 6 feet. That's big. This dinosaur had self-protection meant one thing: body armor. A Torosaurus was the biggest of the armor-plated dinosaurs. The same scale as a human would be barely come up to its bony beak. Oh, wow. Amid the grazing herd, a rumbling noise would sound as some stumbled quickly to avoid being caught in a fight. The crash of bone against bone would sound out. When Torosaurus fought, it did so at close quarters, which is why it needed horns and a frill of bone. The 3 horns projected from its face. It clashed with another Torosaurus. The horns would hit a bony frill that shielded its soft neck. Its fights may have been a series of giant shoves and pushes aimed at tiring its opponent out rather than injuring it. Okay, so they're for fighting each other. So they would fight with their horns, but then their frill would protect their neck. That's an interesting skeleton. All right, then we have a Pachycephalosaurus. No, we have a Deinonychus. Oh, wow, look at him. Look at his teeth. What does he eat? If you said meat, you are definitely right, because those are meat-eating teeth. All right, let's look. Oh, look at his feet. What is that on his feet? What is this? On all of his feet. Claws. Wow. What do you think he uses those claws for? Look, it's showing you a human is about the same height as this dinosaur. So it's not a big dinosaur, but it's pretty long. Oh, that's what they look like in their illustration. Okay, let's see what they use their big claws for. While some jumped and bit its tails, others went for soft, underfended belly. The powerful jaws gave Deinonychus, that's how you say it, Deinonychus a bone-crunching bite, but its serrated backwards pointing teeth were not its main weapon. Look at the two sickle-shaped claws on its back feet. In an attack of kicks, bites, and squeals, these claws would have cut deep into a harmless animal. The razor-like claws were always kept sharp because Deinonychus did not walk on them, so they never wore down. Oh, so they never walked on their back. The back claws? They would only walk with their front claws? Let's see. You see them walking with their claws up in the air? Look right there. He would never walk on his claws, so they just stay really sharp. Oh, wow. Okay, I have one more for you. This one. Oh, look at that. That's cool. When you open and close the book, it opens its mouth. An Allosaurus. All right, this is a big dinosaur. It's not a Tyrannosaur, but it is an Allosaurus. All right, so we can see his big teeth. All right, unlike the Deinonychus, that one was only as tall as a human. But this one, it says, was at 30 feet long and 2 tons. So that was really big dinosaur. It made an awesome sight among the hills of North America. Smaller dinosaurs scattered for cover as it moved in to attack. Only their speed saving them from a terrible fate. Clouds of dust were kicked up by Allosaurus as it made strides up to 6 feet long. It was caught its prey. There was little hope of escape. What its teeth didn't bite, its heavy limbs pinned to the ground, their curved claws puncturing the ground and tearing the fallen victim. This flesh-eating dinosaur was the ancestor of Tyrannosaurus rex, which lived a long time after. All right, so this dinosaur is even older than a Tyrannosaurus rex. This is an Allosaurus. Oh, I liked doing this to make his jaw move up and down. All right, that was really cool. And we learned a lot just from the bones of the dinosaur. So that kind of helps us know what paleontologists learn by just getting bones. They've never seen, no human has ever seen a dinosaur with its skin on, right? A living, breathing dinosaur. All we find of them are bones. But now we know what it takes with our brains to be able to figure out about the dinosaurs and what they did and what they ate and what they used their claws for or what they used their horns for. And a lot of it is guessing, but some of it they can prove, and that's really cool. Now let's go to Fossil Hall at the museum and we'll see some cool fossils. Right, here we go. Today we're in the Smithsonian Natural History Museum, and what do we see, Joe? Dinosaur fossils, or bones. We don't see real dinosaurs because they're not alive. Here's all the dinosaurs, Ben. That T-Rex eating another one. And there's some really big long necks. Last American dinosaurs. Wow, he's eating that one. Fossil Hall didn't just have dinosaurs, it also had other animals too. There's some dinosaurs. Like here is a mammoth skeleton. We had a lot of, here's some herd animals. So it had so many different ones. And then here we got a selfie with the really tall dinosaur fossils. And then this was a puzzle of a stegosaurus. So cool. All right, see you next time.